All right, now, today, I'm going to ask you a question. Do you know the difference between your conscious mind, your subconscious mind, and your unconscious mind? Hi, Cheryl here again. Until fairly recently, a couple of years ago, I really didn't spend much time thinking about the three of those. You know, conscious, I thought, that's me walking, talking, doing my conscious things. Hello, Lovis. Subconscious, I thought was, unconscious, I thought was, like asleep or at hospital or, getting surgery. Anyway, to clear it up a little, I thought today I would just touch on this a little. Now, a really good example, actually, let's go straight to that, is driving in your car. Now, imagine, here you are, you got a passenger in the car with you and you're having a conversation and you're driving along somewhere that you've been before, is a good example. So as you're driving along, you're having a chat, you might be on your own, singing to music or thinking about your shopping list or what do I have to do today, or thinking about an exam, something along those lines. And before you know it, you've actually arrived where you were going, but you don't really remember all of the journey. Now, most people have done this, or, some other thing. I mean, this is just an example, right? So what happens is your conscious mind is having the chat with the person in the car or singing or whatever. Your subconscious mind is the one keeping you breathing, keeping you upright, doing something that is you're doing by routine, which is you're driving, you do it all the time. It's like walking, you don't trip over every time there's a step. So these are really good ways to explain those two and how we actually use them all the time. There's so much going on in our lives that consciously we're not always paying attention for a start. So what happens is our subconscious mind takes over and starts doing things by default for us. So when you're starting a new routine or you're starting a new habit, what happens is these two get jostled around straight up, because in your conscious mind, you have to start reprogramming so that eventually it becomes habit that your subconscious mind picks up on it and just does it. Like I know for me, going to the gym or working out, that kind of thing, eventually my subconscious mind remembers, and it will maybe steer me away from having a cup of tea first in the morning and actually make me go and do my workout or my routine. Now then there's the unconscious mind, which I learned a lot about recently when I learned to become a creatrix transformologist. Now there's a little link above here that you can go and have a look at my page, which will explain a bit more about it. I can't do any of this justice in such short videos. I do it just to give us a bit of an example. But in truth, if you really want to know more, it's like anything. Spend 5 minutes, go and have a read. Now, the unconscious mind is a funny little beast. Now, what it does, it listens to your thoughts about yourself, not what you say, because we all say one thing yet think another. I'm talking from a female perspective, where you can say, I'm fine, yes, I'm doing great. Where deep down you go, I'm dying. Will someone come and help me? Oh my God, I'm just going nuts. Or you think there's like great men out there for you. Yeah, men are wonderful. Yet you have a deep-seated belief that men will always leave you, or men will treat you bad, or men are bastards. They're not all bastards, by the way. So what happens is your unconscious mind, 1, has no sense of humor. 2, it's not going to edit your thoughts because it's been really good and it knows you really want something different. It is listening to the self-talk, self-thought that I covered in another video. It listens to this. Now, its one job is to go out and find you proof on all the thoughts that you're having. So when we have stifled thoughts, we have that mind chatter, we have negativity going on, we have limiting beliefs, or we have just such shit that it's just put us into a state of, I know a lot of people, especially myself, I was in, what do you call it? Not shock mode, when you're prepared, like an emergency all the time. Anyway, so what your unconscious mind goes about doing, right, while it's listening to your unconscious thoughts, it goes about and it finds proof. It's going to go and find all those terrible men, all of those bastards, and it's actually going to hide anything else that is it is not in keeping with that thought. So all of the great guys, the nice ones, you don't even notice them, because that's not your unconscious mind's job, is to go and find what your conscious and subconscious mind are on about, if this makes sense. So if you're lying to yourself, you might say, oh, I think I'm great at business, or I'm good at whatever. Yet deep down you don't believe that. Well, bet you pounds to pence, your unconscious mind will only bring to you occurrences, situations, circumstances, and people that uphold those beliefs that you have in your unconscious mind. Now, when I learned about this, I realized that no wonder why I'd done so much self-help, like videos, affirmations, I'd read books, I'd been to seminars, I'd been to courses. I have an extremely positive mother who's still watching, hi Lois, who taught me from a very, very young age about self-awareness, being aware of, like your thoughts, your actions, what you're doing. Anyway, fast forward to here. I was still stuck on things. I couldn't really just get over the line, and just feel fully happy. Because I could pretend, or I could say things were great, or some days they just were great. But there was always that thing in the background. And really what I was getting in my life was the perfect example of what I was thinking. However, I learned that without help, a person cannot access the unconscious mind on their own. That's it. That's simple. So the way to go about accessing that, I'm not going to talk down or up about any other modality like hypnosis, what's that other one, NLP, all of them, which I don't know a whole lot about. I know enough to know what they're about. It's not my gig. This new process that's come out is based on epigenetics, which is above the genes. So this is stuff that's been studied by a guy called Dr. Bruce Lipton since back in the 60s. He did stem cell research and worked out that whatever environment you place stem cells in, now a stem cell is like a clone cell. It can make anything. It can make an ear, a bone, skin, an eyeball, you name it. It depended what environment he put them into as to what they turned out to be. So he proved that environment has a huge impact on how our genes present. So from this epigenetics, again, I'm taking a huge topic and squishing it down into something small so I can present a little tidbit here. What my process that I have learned does is it goes to the unconscious mind. You have to be ready to do this, as I was. I went through this process, which I won't get into here. It's quite simple, I must say. But I actually hit the nail on the head. The things that I had triggers for, like you may have gone through a drama as a child, yet every time something similar like that comes up, it triggers an emotional state or an emotional reaction. Now, it might not seem logical when you're older. Why would you be acting that way? That's not what's happening. But your genes know, and your memory knows. Anyway, I digress. So what happens, what happened for me was through going down to the unconscious mind and releasing that. Let's just use that word for now. It went like that, like that, like that, like that, like that. To where now I know I've seen the triggers that used to take me out at the knees. It was horrible. It was horrendous. And it was really, when the triggers come, you're not in control. You can't say, oh, today I'm just going to steer away from things that will trigger me. You can maybe say, I'll steer away from fast food or I'll steer away from something like that. But anyway, when these triggers came up, the first thing I remember nearly stopping and everything went quiet when I realized moments later that, wait a minute, oh my God, there was nothing, again, nothing. It had gone. So I can still see these things, but they have no effect on me at all. Zip, zilch. Now, this process is long lasting. I mean, I can tell you for me, it's a very new process too. Again, go to the website and have a look. But anyway, for now, let me just go back to what I was talking about, the conscious mind, the subconscious mind, and the unconscious mind. Once we start to understand them a bit better, then we can understand why certain processes and certain thought patterns happen in us. And we can start to get some, not compartmentalizing it, but you can start to separate things and understand why stuff goes on and that certain things aren't linked together. They're not, they seem that way, but they're not. So anyway, that's my talk today. I hope that makes sense. I'm sure it does. And look, it's all about little bits of information. We're moving into a new era. Women are, we're changing. We're standing up for ourselves. I mean, that sounds so cliche in itself. We are empowering ourselves in ways that aren't traditional. That's probably the best way of putting it. And my whole aim is to uplift women, myself also, so that we can get on and live lives the way we were meant to, like these amazing creatures that we are, instead of squashing it down and negating these unique, and I mean unique, differences between male and female, which I'll go into further. Now I'm getting better at my live videos. Anyway, we just hit 12 minutes, so I'm just going to get off here. And I will be back on Wednesday. So anyway, have a great day, everybody. Take care. Any questions, please shoot them to me. Other than that, take care. Have a good one. Au revoir.